Okay. So now we've got I got my computer plugged in here. So I'm recording once again. Today we are going on to section 2.6, which this is going to be a challenge. I'm not going to lie to you, but your assignment's really not very long, but it's going to be very detail oriented. 2.6, nonlinear inequalities. Okay, I'm going to start off with a kind of an easier one, then we're going to spend some time doing some tougher ones today. Okay? So here's the thing. Nonlinear means there's going to be some squareds in it today. So if I've got x squared plus 5x plus 6 is less than 20. Okay? Well, how in the heck do we do this? It goes back to the same thing. Whenever we have quadratics or cubics or something like that, we have to compare it to 0. Okay? Yeah, so I'm going to subtract 20. So x squared plus 5x minus 14 is less than 0. Now, what the heck would we do here? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're looking for where it is 0. Because if we can find out where it is 0, we can find out where it might be positive or negative around those values. Okay? So we're looking for where it's 0. So in this case, it's really quite nice to factor x plus 7x minus 2. So we've got these two values where something special is happening. Negative 7 and 2. Okay? We won't always be able to do this, but it's going to look like this. It's going to be a parabola. And this is 2, this is negative 7. Where is it less than 0? Between negative 7 and 2. Okay? In this case, the graph is really easy, and we can tell that it's going to look like that. How do we know it's going to look like that? I know those are my zeros, and I know it opens up. So it's going to look like that. So the answer to this, and we're going to do it in a little bit different way here, just a little bit, will be the interval from negative 7 to 2, but will I have brackets or will I have parentheses? Remember, brackets means we include that number. Parentheses means we... Bracket? I want it to be less than 0. You had a 50-50 chance, man. Dang it. So I want it to be less than 0. So that is the interval which this is true. Let's pretend we didn't know there was a graph. Let's pretend. What could we do? Well, we'll look at our little test strip. At 2, it gives me 0. At 7, it gives me 0. Now, I think we've done this before where we have to figure out where it's positive or negative. Yeah, we have when we were graphing. Okay? So let's just plug in 5. Well, I don't care the numbers. I care whether it's positive or negative. If I plug in 5 into this part right here, positive. Plug in 5 into that part there, positive. Then this whole thing is positive because a positive times a positive gives me a positive. Now let's do one between. Oh, I don't know. Let's pick 0. This part here, positive. This part here, negative. So everything here is going to be negative. Okay? And then if I pick negative 10, negative, and a negative gives me a whole bunch of positives. And another way we could tell this is if we think back to your roots, a single root, you have a sign change at a single root. It's going to change from positive to negative because x minus 2 just happens once. Okay. Because what I'm doing here, Colby, is I'm figuring out what can I plug in. If I plugged in 0. If I plug in 0, I get here a positive, and here I get a negative. So this right here, a positive times a negative, that's where I'm getting my negative. And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Okay? Good. Okay. And I will say something here real quick. You guys may or may not know who it is. I really don't care. But I had 2 people retake the last one. The deadline was Friday. One person raised their grade by 7%. One person raised their grade by 6%. And you can get all the way back up to a 90. I don't know why we don't have people taking advantage of that. The end of the quarter is the end of this month. We're not going to have a lot of tests between now and the end of the month. So this idea of saving it till here, no. Just care enough about your grade to do what's got to be done. Ugh. Okay, here we go. Now, this is where it's going to get kind of funky chicken here. It's greater than 3. I don't like to compare to 3. What do I like to compare to? 0. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Thank you. Okay. So now I need to add these 2 things together. In order to add 2 things together, what do I have to find when we're dealing? I need a common denominator. My common denominator is going to be x plus 4. Right now, this is over 1. So how do I deal with this? I multiply this by x plus 4 over x plus 4. Because if I multiply by x plus 4 over x plus 4, what am I really multiplying by? 1. That's totally legal. Okay? So now let's go ahead and take care of this. On the top, what do we have left? Well, I got x minus 3. Don't try and do too much at once. Show what you're doing. Negative 3x, so minus 3x minus 12 over x plus 4 is greater than 0. Let's continue simplifying. Negative 2x. Yeah.
So 2 times 1 x plus 4, why don't I do it that way?
I'm not quite sure where would I FOIL it? Over here?
Well, since you times both the top and bottom by x plus 4.
Yeah.
So what at the bottom of it? Negative 3x minus 12 over.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay? If I take 1/3 plus 7/3, what do I get? 8 thirds. Okay? No, hey, those are things you got to ask. If you got a question, you got to ask it. Okay? I'm done with the days of people not getting what's going on and then just sitting there quiet. So that's what I want to see. Minus 15 over x plus 4 is greater than 0. Ugh. I don't like this negative. Okay, so this is a different scenario. I have to look at what values of x will make the top and or bottom 0. Negative 4, what else? Negative 4 will lead to 7.5. Good, so negative 7.5, right? Okay, so here's what I've got. Let's just look at a number line on this one. I got negative 7.5 and negative 4. And there's going to be something that's going to give you a little bit of grief here, so I don't know if this is technically the right thing to write, but anyway, it is undefined. Okay. Okay. What's happening at negative 4? Well, it makes my bottom 0, so that's undefined. That's where I have an asymptote. Remember that? Okay? Good. Negative 7.5. That's where I get a 0 from the top being 0. Now I've just got to figure out each part. Is it positive or negative?
So where do you get the next step?
Imagining in my head this part setting it equal to 0.
Oh.
Okay, so let's plug in 0. On the top, if I plug in 0, will I get a positive or negative on the whole top? A negative. On the bottom, if I plug in 0, will I get a positive or negative? Positive. So in this section, a negative by a positive is negative, 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 negative. Okay? Does anybody have a guess as to what it's going to be here? Positive. That's right, because it's a single root. But I'm going to be careful, and I'm going to plug in negative 5. Why negative 5? Because that's in this interval. So negative 5. If I plug in negative 5, I get 5, and that makes it negative. And then on the bottom, I get a negative divided by a negative. I get a positive. Okay. Next section, I could plug in negative 10. That would give me a positive on the top, a negative on the bottom, which would be negatives. Okay. We're almost done. I want to know where it's greater than 0. Where is it greater than 0? I'm going to change this problem ever so slightly. We're going to make it greater than or equal to. Okay? Let's make that change. So if it's 0, I'm happy. If it's greater than, I'm happy. So it's going to be from negative 7.5 to negative 4. But where will it have a parenthesis? Where will it have a bracket? It's going to have a little bit of both, maybe. Negative 4, parenthesis or bracket? Parenthesis. Beautiful. Why? Because it's not 0 there. Undefined. Okay. What about the negative 7.5? Bracketomania. Well, here, I want to know it's greater than or equal to 0. Undefined isn't greater than 0 or equal to 0, so I don't include that point. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm still lost on the same question we asked. How it became negative 7.5.
Basically, if you set in the box to 0 and solving for x.
Yeah, so if you look up here, I get 2x plus 15 equals 0. 2x equals negative 15. X equals negative 15 halves.
Oh, but where did
I don't really care about it because I just want to know what's going to make the top 0. And the only way the top's going to be 0 is if what's inside parentheses is 0. I could have done that up here too. I could have set that equal to 0 and solved. Okay? Interesting. Interesting. I'm learning more about you guys as we go. Okay. Here we go. Let's do another one. I've got 2 more planned. You up for it? Yes! 4 over x minus 6 plus 2 over x plus 1 is greater than 0. What the heck? Let's go greater than or equal to 0. Okay? So what do we have to find? Common denominator. What should I multiply top and bottom of the first one by? No, it was already an x minus 6. X plus 1, because I need to have this as a part of my denominator as well. What should I multiply top and bottom of the second one by? X minus 6. So now, look at this. We've got now a common denominator. Okay. So now let's go ahead and just write that out. I don't have to multiply it out. Now let's look at the top. 4x plus 4 plus 2x minus 12. Again, if you're not following me on something, stop me. Throw something at me. Just so it's not the stapler. That would hurt. A lot. Especially when it's open and it goes... 2x minus 8 all over x minus 6, x plus 1. It would be 6x, wouldn't it? Good job. Good job. I like to do that every once in a while, make sure people are paying attention. Okay. I gotta tell you, I was impressed with last week. I like how you guys do homecoming. You guys have a neat tradition here, and congratulations to the juniors for winning that. I was bummed. I missed a lot of the minute to win it deals. I had to cover somebody else's class, Mrs. Prignell's class. So I got to teach 8th grade algebra interventions.
Did you like dodgeball?
Dodgeball was fun. Yep.
I thought you hockey.
Okay. So, hey, the tough part's done. But now we got to do the analysis. So what numbers do we need on our number line? In other words, what will make the top or the bottom 0? 6, -1, and 4/3. Notice I put them in the right order. Okay, if I'm going to put them on a number line, I need to put them in the right order. At 6, is it undefined or is it 0? Yeah, undefined. 4/3, 0, and -1, undefined. Good. Okay. And you know what? If we really put our brilliant mind on here, if we find out one region, the rest of them, there's going to be a sign change every time. So what do you want to plug in? Let's plug in 0 right here. Okay. So help me out. Negative, and the bottom is negative and a positive. Okay. So what's that going to be? Negative. Okay. The top is negative. The bottom would be what? Negative. So a negative divided by negative is a positive. So what's it going to be through here? Negative, because it's a single root. What's it going to be through here? Positive. What's it going to be through here? Negative. Now, I do want to show you something. If this was squared, then something would change. This right here, this would be positive through here. But you can do that by checking points as well. Why? Because that's a double root. There's no sign change there. Okay, greater than or equal to 0. So I'm interested in this part and this part. Okay, so -1, 4/3, parentheses or brackets. Parenthesis here, bracket there. Awesome, you guys are doing great. So 6 to infinity, parenthesis, and a big old union between. I like problems that you could show other people and they go, ooh, you're really smart. And you go, yeah, I am. I saved the best for last, folks. No, I'm not doing the word problems in this section. Nope. 6 plus 7. Just a yes or no for me, please. This 6-7 deal, is there something kind of naughty to it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I've done the research, and like today in one of the problems, you know, the answer was somewhere around 6 or 7, and I went, oh, the answer, 6 or 7. 6, 7. And they all snickered like I just said something naughty. That should be the thumb you going like this. So then then it made me look it back up and re-research it. So, anyway. You're all hooligans. Exactly. So this one, we can't compare to 6, so what do I got to do? Subtract 6. You know what I'm going to do? 6, 7, whatever. Okay? So here's the thing. I have to find a common denominator.
The whole bottom.
Times it by the whole bottom. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go like this. X minus 3, x plus 1, x minus 3, x plus 1. And now I'm just going to start multiplying some things out. Okay? Okay, stop. Why are we multiplying? I'm gonna FOIL this out. Why? Because I'm gonna have to combine it with things from over here. I don't FOIL things out just to FOIL things. I FOIL them out thinking, okay, I'm gonna need those parts all broken up later. So here we go. 2x squared plus x minus 6. And I'm gonna jot some things here just so we can save ourselves. I multiplied that out real quick. Now I got to take negative 6 times all of that. Negative 2. Yep. So I get negative 6x squared plus 12x plus 18, right?
So if you just do negative 6 times x minus 3.
Not both of them. No, just one of them. And the reason is because if I had something like this, blob plus blob, then I would distribute. But if it's negative 6 times this, if I just multiply that to the first one, when I multiply this to the second one, it'll yeah. Or you can FOIL it and then multiply everything by negative 6. Okay? Great questions. Good. Okay? See, these are all little things that you can't ignore, because then if we do, as we go to bigger and better things, harder things, then all those things are still going to keep tripping us up, and we're going to get frustrated, we're going to get angry, and somebody's going to keep my car. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. And I'd look at the film, and then you guys would be paying to get it repainted. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Let's do the top. Yeah. I don't like to joke about things that are thousands of dollars of damage. Okay. So you okay with that?
Who's the X? Yeah, don't you calling me that? That's the questions. Oh, I won't call it. I think you have it. Thank you. It's 3 is 16. So plus 3 by 6. Right, so what do you want to next, right? What's presented?
Test strip. What's my biggest number? 4. What's my next number? 3. Negative 1. Oh, no. No. Negative 3/4. Negative 1. That's actually what we were working on in the Algebra 1 interventions class yesterday, putting fractions and stuff in order. It was great fun. So there's my zero section. Negative? Yep, it'd be negative. So the top would be positive, the bottom would be negative. This would be positive, this would be negative, this would be positive, this would be negative, because there's no double roots or anything. So now, less than or equal to 0. Less than or equal to 0. I'm interested in this section and this section. Negative infinity. You what?
The last one?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Good catch, guys. Negative infinity and negative 1, parenthesis, parenthesis, negative 3/4. Yep, sorry. I need to just go ahead and zoom this out. Negative 3/4 and 3, parenthesis, union, 4 to infinity. Page 145. 3, 7, 15, 19 through 25, odd, and 47. 47, you're probably going to have to use some of your skills with throwing things on the shelf. I'll tell you, we'll save 47 for tomorrow. Okay, yep. So if it makes the bottom 0, good. The only way you get good at these is to do them. So don't slack off. Do what you should do and get better.